Are you ready to do a spell to flash us back to prior to, I guess, the beginning of season 4? We're ready for this. Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling. As always, I am here with my co-host, Sarah Humphrey. Sarah, how are you?
Jess, I'm so good because I feel as though we casted a spell. We were like, I wish this
Yeah.
never happened. I wish that we never covered season 4. I wish that this whole thing was over. And Megan granted us our wish. She is the
Yeah.
best witch that we cover on Shit 90 Shows Taught Me by leaps and bounds. I've been saying Willow could fucking never. She
Yeah.
never. She can't even turn Rat Amy back into a human.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Megan has granted us our wish. We have gone back in time. Smitten as a kitten. What's the kitten's name in
Oh, I don't know. Mrs. Kitty Fantastico or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, Smitten is
Uh,
that kitty.
yeah. Yeah.
Ain't that kitty in the highway.
Oh my God. Anyway, we're here to talk about season 4, episode 18. Time will tell. But of course, we're not alone. Someone who has been just waiting to talk about this episode with us, Todd the Librarian. Todd, how are you?
Senior year is going to be so good.
So, so good.
Yeah, I have been waiting for y'all to reach this moment since you announced you're going to be covering Felicity. I have been just like eagerly awaiting as all of the crap of season 4. You guys are like, man, I don't know if you're even going to finish the show, but you have to finish the show. You have to get to the second finale because, oh my lord, it is just so bonkers that they decided to do this.
Yeah, it's unhinged. I will say, like, at the very least, it's not boring, right? Like, we finished the show with the first finale, and then they didn't bore us to tears with the follow-up episode, you know? Like, this was insanity, but it wasn't boring. Sarah, broad thoughts on what they chose to do here.
I'm confused. Like, let me just say, like, I'm confused. Of course, I want to know like all the context and the decision making around it, kind of the behind the scenes, because like I'm confused why they went this route, especially coming from a show that we've had, like, of course, the Twilight Zone episode that Todd joined us for, and there's been like, you know, a couple spells here and there, but this is
Right.
obviously not a show that's has is grounded in like supernatural lore or rules. So I'm curious why. I'm curious about the why. However, if I put that aside, I'm really happy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really don't have much to complain about, because like when we get to a point of like deliria and we're like, let's bring in the witchcraft. Let's like go back in time. Like, it's wild, but I love it. I mean, for so many reasons. Namely, like, I spoke too soon. I flew my white flag too early. I declared you the winner last episode, and my friend, you are a fucking loser.
Currently, yes. And you know what? At this point, I feel like I have completed my legal obligation towards Team Ben. We reached a finale, and I feel like it was supposed to be the series finale. And I've completed my Team Ben requirements. For anyone who's watching us on our YouTube channel, I have updated my poster. As you can see, the hashtag Team Ben has been completely crossed out. And the quote of "No, it's a time machine" has never been more relevant, Todd.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, whenever you first put that up, I was like, just you wait. Just you wait. There's going to be a time machine and it's
Oh my
going to
God.
be I don't know if fantastic's the right word, but memorable. Memorable is definitely
Certainly
word.
memorable.
It's one of the main things that I remembered about the show. And I will say, like, watching it in real time, I knew it was coming. Like, TV Guide had a thing of, yeah,
really?
they let us know that, in the new Felicity, there's going to be time travel. So it was not like a big shock. Like,
Weird.
back in the day, like spoilers would come out about a lot of stuff just from like the episode descriptions pretty regularly in like the publications. I'm pretty sure because I don't know if y'all ever read TV Guide. It was a perennial publication at my house. I think after my mom stopped actually getting subscriptions to TV Guide, we still got it for years and years after, because I used to sell magazine subscriptions to raise money for band, and my mom would always just renew her TV Guide subscription through that, even though she would buy like a 2-year subscription, and next year she'd buy another 2-year subscription. So it would just extend and extend and extend.
Wow.
And Todd is still receiving TV Guides to this day.
I think it finally stopped showing up at my dad's house, but I'm not sure. But largely because TV Guide kind of stopped publication,
Yeah.
I think. But they used to have like the episode of the day, a special like box that would go in depth about what was going to be happening on like noteworthy episodes. And this was one of those things. I remember reading that at the time and going, wait, what? As to the why the all,
yeah, please.
I don't have like good concrete information. I just know that J.J. Abrams is behind the show, even though it started off not as a supernatural show. I mean, we had like the Twilight Zone episode and talked at that time about how he loves sci-fi and he loved the Twilight Zone. And his show Alias, which is normally a spy show, became a sci-fi show pretty quickly. And then of course he's involved in Lost, he was involved in Fringe, he was involved in the Star Trek reboots. JJ loves sci-fi, and this is kind of, I think, just an excuse like, okay, they're making us do 5 more episodes. What are we gonna do? Hey, let's just throw some timey-wimey sci-fi bullshit in here. And if they don't like it, who cares? The show's canceled anyway, but I can at least like play in the playground I like to play in. So I think that was like the motivation more than anything. They're like, okay, what do we even do? And he likes sci-fi stuff and decided, hey, let's play around with it. Does it make a whole lot of sense in the end? I will have a voicemail on the finale to share my thoughts on the time travel of it all in more depth once you have seen how everything plays out. But I do love they're taking the swing in a way, even if it is taking us back to a season that is pretty reviled by people right now.
Yeah, because
I don't remember hating it this much on my original watch, but on this rewatch, as I was going through, I was like, well, I'll probably come on for the time travel episode, but who knows? Maybe there's an episode earlier on in the season that I'll want to come on for. And as I binged the season, I was going, no, through the whole freaking thing. So the idea that we had to go back to the beginning of season 4, which is interesting. In my mind, she'd gone back further. That's the one thing that surprised me, because in my mind, she had gone back to a different decision point with Noel. I forgot that she only went back, basically
end of summer. Yeah. Beginning of season 4.
Yeah. So now we're having to relive season 4, but it's butterfly effect time, people. It's time to see how this weird thing. We've already seen one thing, which is that Megan and Sean are not currently married, even though at this point in the original timeline they were. And how is that going to affect things? That's one little butterfly effect to keep an eye out for. But yeah, there's going to be lots of little things that are going to change from how it went the first time around. It's going to be interesting to see characters that showed up before that aren't going to show up, and maybe some characters returning. Who knows? We'll see.
Interesting. So, quick question, just so I get the timeline of how things happen behind the scenes correct. They had filmed and everything, the regular finale, the normal finale, and then that's when the order came in. So, the audience had not seen the original finale yet, correct?
Correct. This aired the week after the original finale. There was no space of time between them. So this was not like, I know you guys were theorizing, well, maybe as a reaction they'll do this, that. No. And if there was a reaction, is from like people giving feedback throughout the season, but this was locked and loaded and ready to go as soon as the original finale ended. There was like no gap.
I find that wild too, because it's, they don't know really how people are going to react to it. So I mean, the whole, like, the decision is wild. However, because of how much we were tortured in season 4, I'm really happy about undoing it. It has to be feedback throughout the season of like just how, like, even the Megan and Sean thing about how disastrous their marriage was, and how Megan changed her complete look. Like, every single thing that we have been complaining about this season, they have undone, which is is wild. Like, it really is. It's wild that it's not the fact that there was a response from the audience.
I guess it's enough of a response to get that how much people weren't enjoying season 4. And because it feels very meta, right? To be like, where are we going to go back to? Oh, the premiere of this season that people haven't been enjoying.
Yeah.
And they also, like you said, Sarah, they don't know how people will react to Felicity and Ben being together in like the first finale. Like they don't know if people are going to enjoy that or not, enjoy the fact that they're both back in Palo Alto, right? Like, all of that stuff is an unknown. I enjoy this in terms of like, let's just erase all the shit we hated and like start from scratch. We'll get into like the nitpicks of I have some nits to pick overall, I would say. But I like the leap, like Todd was saying. I love a bold move in television. Sometimes it doesn't pay off, right? Like sometimes it's a mistake and it's jumping the shark, it's whatever, it doesn't go well.
Let's be
But
clear, there's a lot of room left for that to be the case here. You know what I
oh,
mean?
certainly. But at least, but here's the thing though, Sarah, at least it's not like humdrum, like, oh, we're gonna follow Ben and Felicity at college in Palo Alto. Like they're doing something different, and it's wild, and it makes for, we had to podcast about this show, people. Like, we want to be able to have something to talk about. And like, good God, this episode gave us something to talk about, you know? So at least there's that.
Yeah, behind the scenes, Jess and Sarah were like, can we just like double up on this for the rest of the show to just get done with this? And Lindy, trying not to spoil what's going on, like, no, you have to cover these episodes individually because we knew that once you actually hit it, there was going to be a lot to talk about in this. Because there is going to be just in general, like, okay, how are things different from what they were before? There's a lot of that discussion, but also right now, you guys don't know what sort of time travel story this is. Is this like, you know, Destiny is trying to push everything back the way it was originally and she's fighting against it? Or is it, oh, she's gone back and she's made this one thing and everything's going to go wrong and now she has to try to go back to fix things?
Right, because
other way it's going to happen. There's like all these different ways that this sort of time travel story can go. And y'all don't know yet which trajectory you're on.
Right. There's a lot of different ways this could go. Again, like having seen a decent amount of time travel stories at this point in my life, like it's really, who knows where we're going to be headed, because like I think the thing that I personally feel like Felicity should be focused on is not the thing Felicity is focused on in terms of the time travel aspect of it all. And the fact that Felicity doesn't understand how time travel works also just annoys the ever-loving shit out of me, which we will also get into. But I have kind of separated our discussion into like before the time travel and then after the time travel. So let's start with the before the time travel. Sarah, we are 2 minutes into this episode after the finale, and Elena is fucking dead, and she's dead because of a car accident, and it happens like 6 months after the finale.
Yeah. So okay.
Is that not right? Todd, sorry.
No, the only time that we get is like what is happening now is 6 months after Elena died.
Oh, I misunderstood. Yeah. So we don't know how long they were like in Palo Alto before all that happened.
Yeah, we really don't have a good indicator at this point in time, like how long after they graduated and all the other stuff happened in the finale.
Sense. Okay.
Yeah, there's like
because the Noel stuff was tripping me up hardcore. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because there's enough time like at the end of the finale for them to all go their separate ways and Felicity to go to Palo Alto and Ben to follow her. So time passed there, and then after that, some other span of time has passed while they're in school, but we don't know for sure how long. And then at some point, Elena died, and now everything that's happening now is 6 months after Elena died. So this is like 6 months of Felicity being in her own head and being upset and withdrawing that has driven Ben into the arms of another.
Yeah.
Because it's all
Yeah.
Felicity's fault, of
Because,
course.
when someone dies, it's abnormal to be depressed and upset about it for a little bit.
And your best friend
Fucking
dies. Yeah.
unhinged.
Yeah. So we could say it's probably a year and a half later, maybe 2 years. I don't know.
It's tough to say. I mean, here's the thing. It's enough time that Noel has gotten engaged, like been with Zoe, gotten
Mhm.
engaged, and is now getting married. Like,
Mhm.
obviously all that can happen very quickly, but like if we're following a more traditional timeline,
Yeah.
I would say it's been at least a year.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's like in the future, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really doesn't end up mattering, but Elena is dead. I was very upset, and also I felt a little vindicated. Like, I thought she was going to die from a terminal illness. That was my assumption, because we thought, hey, we're jumping forward in time, like most normal shows do. But Elena dies via a car accident, and I was pissed immediately. It's like, how dare you? How dare you?
Well, once again, I'm just like so confused because I was like, oh, like maybe Taji Miller was like, I'm too good for this show and I'm not going to come back.
Yeah.
But now we're realizing that there wasn't that much time between the fake finale and then the
Right.
restart. So because when I first watched it, like that's what I assumed, like in the beginning before she actually does come back before the time jump. So I was like, oh, she was just like, I'm too good for this, I'm not coming back, like fuck you all, deuces. And then they like have to kill her off. But in reality that's like not the case. So then I just want to know,
Yeah.
like, why would this show take out the only
Well,
POC? Like, why in the world would they take that swing? Like, it could be anybody else. Like, why did we decide it was Elena? Like, I felt like it was cheap. It very much mirrors the Jen storyline in Dawson's Creek. We don't know what to do with this character. We don't know what her storyline could be. So let's just add the misery. So that was my initial thought. Once again, this is my reactions before the time jump. So
yeah,
of
so you thought
course,
she was just off the show at that point.
yeah, like of course, like my initial reaction seeing that she was dead was anger because I thought that it was cheap. Like I genuinely believed that. So of course, once we find out that we go back in time and she has another chance, like my anger dissipated. But I thought that was of course I didn't like it because I just it's just like they don't know what to do with poor Elena, so we're just gonna kill her off. And then also you were right, so that also made me a little angry about her dying. And I don't
Yeah.
like it when you get to claim that you're right because
Yeah.
you already love to do your little victory laps
I love
around,
a victory lap.
and it's extremely irritating. So I was doubly angry because of that.
Yeah.
I think the thing that gets me the most about the Elena death is it's not the impetus for the time travel. They're not time traveling back to try and save their friend's life.
Thank you, Todd. Why are
Um,
we not focused on the fact that we need to go back in time and save Elena?
Now, what I will say is the book with the time travel spell is newly published. So it's possible that whenever Elena first died, they did not have the book. And then Megan now has the book now and is just now figuring out that it can do stuff. And so maybe she hadn't even had the possibility to go back in time to save Elena. So from a character perspective, I can maybe excuse that, but still, it is so dumb to have a time travel thing spurred not by your good friend dying, which is like completely ruined your life, but because my boyfriend cheated on me again. And so now I'm going to go back and pick the other guy because I see him having a happy life and that can't happen on my watch. No, he's happy with someone else. Fuck that. He's going to be happy with me.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Even though, because I agree with you, Todd, like, okay, they didn't know the book existed, or they didn't get the book until months after. I don't understand how the first thing that goes through your mind when you like either talk about doing a spell to go back in time, or like end up waking up back in time, how the first thing on your mind is not, oh my God, my best friend is still alive. Like, oh my God, we can prevent her from ever dying. Truly, how selfish of a human being are you that like that is not the first thing on your mind? That instead the first thing on your mind is like, you know what? Like my boyfriend like really sucks. Like I had a chance to get back together with this other guy and I like didn't take it. It's like, girl, you do know there's an option to be alone, right? Like you do know
No,
you
she
can be
doesn't know
single.
that. She
That's a
doesn't know that
thing you
even
can
remotely.
do. It's infuriating. So yeah, not only did Elena's death piss me off, but then the fact that it wasn't like the first thing on people's minds when she got back in time or was talking about going back in time. Unhinged. I was very upset by this. But all of this is like used as a catalyst for Felicity kind of pulling away from Ben. Seems like she's really focused in on her studying in Palo Alto for med school. And we get the emergence of a character and nothing. Well, there are things that piss me off more, but good God, Sarah, I was incensed. I was enraged by this. Oh, and here's Claire and BT Dubs. Claire's been here the whole time. Like she also went to UNY. And like, I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Once again, like lazy writing. Once again, just like we're just gonna yada it. And if the show didn't just like undo all of that, then I would be even more annoyed. But it's like, oh yeah, she was here the whole time. And then like I wish that we saw like, I forget what show did this, but like we go back in time and they show like a scene that we've seen and then it's just Claire in the background.
Oh yes, yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I swear that I've seen this before. That would be that would actually be funny. And it's like, oh, like you were there the whole time. I think How I Met Your Mother did it. Like it seems
a couple
like
of shows have. I think Community maybe did at one point as well.
We had the Secret Origins episode of Community, which I think probably threw that stuff in there. Gravity Falls set that up early on in the show, where the first few episodes, there's a character that pops up in the background. It was kind of like a premeditated thing, but still,
yeah.
The weird thing about what I like to call convenient Claire here is that
incredible.
Even the connection makes zero sense, other than them trying to speed run Ben having a connection with her, because she was there the whole time, except they never knew her. They like explicitly say she was there the entire time, but we never ran into her, never encountered her, even though she was in some of Ben's classes, but we never had any connection. But now I guess the whole thing is like, oh, she shows up like, oh, you were in one of my classes back in UNY and everything. But it just feels so dumb. It's a shortcut to how these people have a connection. It feels completely pointless. But I guess you have to have that, oh, well, it was like destiny thing to explain why then whenever Ben starts making out with her, he makes out with her in the middle of a public space surrounded by people in broad daylight. You moron.
But we also already did that because that was a whole storyline with Elena, one of her first boyfriends, and her like best friend.
Yeah, they were making out in the stacks.
At least they were in the stacks.
Yeah, they were hidden away.
Oh, they were in the stacks. I felt like they were
No, they were in the stacks because we made a whole thing of the stacks because that also connected back to Buffy and Giles making out in the stacks.
I mean, there may have been some other people, but they were definitely like not in the middle of a huge room filled with people at study tables, big bay window, like sunlight streaming in. Anyone walking by could have looked into the library and seen them making out. This is like the most public place that he could kiss this girl and make out with her. And then like, oh, sorry, I can't believe you caught us. Like, what did you think was going to happen, man?
Okay, so like, do you guys think that this is actually in Ben's character? Or do we think that this is once again just like a convenient thing to get to the we want to go back in time? Because like I kind of feel like the person that Ben developed into wouldn't have done that, especially after Ben getting cheated on. Am I giving Ben too much credit? Because I'm leaning towards like, I don't think that the Ben that we saw season 4, episode 17 would have done this to Felicity.
I'm torn.
I think a lot can change over time. And I think getting the background of Felicity has been pulling away to focus on her studies as a result of like a little bit of like a depression because of Elena's death. And Felicity has always been hyper fixated on Ben. And so the question is then what then happens when she's not? And I honestly, I can see him doing this. Like I could see him being like, oh, Felicity's too busy with school and she's not really been paying attention to me. She's not really been putting in effort. Like I think it's kind of, I think you can explain away this sort of a cheating thing when if you give the characters enough time and reason. And so I think with enough time where Felicity is distracted and not focusing on Ben and also like depressed and also Ben has cheated before. Like I could see it happening.
And I think also I agree that it seems like Ben has maybe grown, but also the only real growth we saw from him at the end was like him going, yeah, you're right. It's my turn to chase you. I'm going to kind of abandon my baby mama and child and all to come back. But Ben has never been a communicator. Like Ben, like whenever he's like upset, he acts out. And he could like see her withdrawing and still in his old Ben ways not go, hey, what's wrong? Let's talk about it. No, he's going to go out and play basketball. And Claire's probably at the basketball courts too, because, hey, what do you know? She's a basketball player and they bond over that.
That's true.
I do think that there was growth in Ben, but I also think like in season 4, a lot of that growth kind of like went back and forth. Ben's always been wishy-washy. The whole thing with Lauren and the kid, there's like lots of the very immature decision making he made throughout that entire thing.
That's true.
Also, they killed a baby. They killed a full-on baby. Now that they
no. Okay, like no, we are not like pro-life. That is not true. We did not exist. We didn't kill any babies.
I know they just zapped the baby out of time.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, once again,
listen, that storyline can go in the garbage, so I'm totally fine with it.
That's true. Yeah,
I mean. Lauren's probably still going to be his dad's sponsor, so who knows what could happen in this timeline.
Oh, no.
Yeah, once again, I kind of like removed the Lauren storyline from my brain, and aside from that, I'm like, yeah, like Ben had like a ton of growth throughout the season, but you are absolutely right. Like he continued to show immaturity throughout that process. But I mean, I did feel like Ben did have growth in season 4. Like I was proud of him at times, except for the Lauren stuff. So I guess it just like kind of bummed me out, but it's fine. It's fine. Like I guess we just have to live in a world where we're supposed to hate Ben, even though like we've literally been trained for 4 seasons to like Ben, but now I guess we can just be like the dick is trash, and that's fine, you know?
Yeah, because I think you're right. There was like a lot of really good Ben stuff because early season 4, y'all were like all in on Ben, and I was in there. Just you wait, because Lauren's a coming, and once Lauren pops up, then all of this growth from Ben just gets thrown in the bin. And that's the problem with the show is that they will just have these characters do these things that go completely against what we've seen them learn and grow. The whole Felicity plagiarism storyline makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
The Felicity that we've known for like 3.5 seasons before that, never in a million years would have like done this. Yeah, she cheated for Ben, but that was her thinking, oh no, I'm just helping out. That wasn't her.
Yeah, it's really different.
Cheating, where this was like her going in knowing what I'm about to do is a thing that I can get expelled for. This is cheating. This is bad. But I'm going to do it anyway because I'm just so worried about, again, the Lauren of it all. But it made no sense for Felicity to be doing that. So I think the show, especially in season 4, J.J. Abrams has left to focus on Alias. The show has like different people kind of steering it. And I feel like they're doing these things that kind of go counter to the characters that we knew and loved for several seasons before this. And that's one of the reasons why season 4 is so frustrating, is because it has the characters do dumb things for dumb reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Felicity obviously is getting the invitation for Noel's wedding, catches Claire and Ben making out in a very public library. And Felicity immediately calls Megan, who is just the best. Like, if anybody has a major glow up between like one episode and another, like Megan, love her. She's so supportive. She's like, fuck that guy. come to New York. We'll hang out. And Felicity is just like really distraught. And I love Megan saying, I won't tell anyone. Like, you don't have to worry about it. We can keep it between us and you'll just have a good time. Like, you'll be back around your friends. I just loved this version of Megan, Sarah. I feel like this is a version of Megan we have seen in the past before her entire storyline got hijacked by the marriage between her and Sean.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we got old Megan back this episode. Between pre-time travel and post-time travel, it was just really good to get our Megan back. Even seeing her post-time travel looking like herself again, it just felt like home. Like, it felt just so much better. And the best thing about the character of Megan is, like, we've said this a billion times, her people are her people. She's an extremely like loyal friend to the people that she considers her own. And Felicity, after years and years of just like her being kind of like a crazy roommate, like ingratiates Felicity as one of her people. Like, that is like one of the like nicest storylines throughout Felicity, of like how she is like, you're kind of freaking crazy, but like you're my crazy person. And like on like the flip side of things, you would like look at Megan and be like, Megan's like the crazy one, but like honestly, Felicity is like an insane lunatic. So I really like seeing Megan be a good friend, because that's some of my favorite moments of this series, is how Megan and Felicity's friendship has developed.
Yeah, totally agree with all of that. I just want to say, like, every time I have a quote from Megan in my notes, next to it, I've written "Preach, Megan," because she's spitting facts. Whenever Felicity lies to say that a Ben isn't going to come because of like studying or whatever, and he's not going to come, and Megan's response is, "Who cares? They hate each other anyway." Like, yeah, preach, Megan.
Yeah. And Megan is like so lovely. So she welcomes her in. And I love that right away. She's like, that son of a bitch. We're going to do a tripping spell on him. Like, incredible. 10 out of 10. When I was watching this for the first time, I was like, oh my God, she could do a tripping spell. I'm like, just kill him then. Do it, Megan. Do it. Kill him.
Oh my gosh. No, but this is like the kind of like petty practical magic that I love. Once again, I'm sorry for bringing in Buffy, but like when we have like magic stuff, it's like so easy to bring in that. But like on Buffy, I say all the time, like my favorite type of magic is like the practical magic. It's like, I want to like change my outfit or my look, or like let's do like a little tripping spell. It's like so much fun that like this little like day-to-day magic. Of course, they have this like big Krakowski, whatever the person's name is, spell. What is the
I have no idea.
Korsakov.
There you go.
Korsakov spell. That's like a huge spell, but like this is so funny. And I love that like Megan was like, we can either have him trip down a curb, or trip on a curb, or trip down the stairs. And Felicity, she's like, I want him hurt, but like not like dead hurt. Like, I don't want him to like become paralyzed. So like, and Megan's just like, curb it is, let's go. And then the satisfaction that she had when he does show up to the rehearsal dinner with a cut on his head, and Megan's just like, hey Ben, how'd you get that cut? And Ben's just like, yeah, like I tripped. It was really good. It was really good. I loved that moment.
Sarah, did you know they're making a practical magic 2?
Of course, yeah. I do. You know, it's like, it's so near and dear to me. Like, I kind of hate it when we like mess with things, you know, like I'm always like a little wary. But I am very excited for practical magic too. Well,
I got to see the director of the original Practical Magic at a horror movie convention this summer.
Really?
Yeah, Griffin Dunn. He was like a star of one of my all-time favorite horror movies, American Werewolf in London. Mm-hmm. But during the Q&A panel, someone else comes up and says, I know we're here to talk about this. I have to say Practical Magic is my favorite movie of all time. And and also one of my a graduate student assistant in my office volunteers at that event, and she got to meet him and talk to him and tell him about how
Really?
much she loves Practical Magic. It's one of her favorite movies, and she said he was like the super sweetest, nicest guy ever. He's not involved in the sequel, but it's just
Oh,
like kind of a cool that he was like, he says like that's the movie people probably come and talk to him about the most. And so there's a lot of people out there who love Practical Magic, and so I knew you were a big fan, so I wanted to tell that story.
I love that. I find it so interesting because like I just think that it's like 90s movies, like in the world building, like it just like feels so established. And I don't watch a lot of current movies, but like I just always feel like 90s movies just always did it right, which is
I think a lot of it has to do, like you're saying, the world building. Also, there is something in the musical selections in 90s films because, as a comparison point, you have like a movie like the Trolls movie, which is a silly movie to bring up, but like, okay, so Justin Timberlake is doing all of the music and like it's all very like modern poppy stuff. Whereas in 90s films, you do have some like big like songs involved, right? Like in Titanic, like you have some big hits involved, but there's more of a focus on like the score and like the emotionality of it. And I feel like we've lost a lot of that. And maybe I am uneducated, and it's certainly possible. I'm not as much of a movie buff, certainly not as much of a movie buff as Todd.
Todd sees like 7 movies a minute. So I mean, he could probably speak differently on it, but I guess like it could also be the films that Jess and I are seeing. I don't think that.
Yeah. It's also vibes, right? Like there's a specific vibe of 90s films that I think is like a little unmatched as well.
Yeah, and for me, it's 80s movies that has the vibe that it's also kind of like what you grew up with to a certain degree.
That's so true. Yeah,
as well. Like, I mean, I love 90s films because I was still like teen, college, during 90s, but the 80s are what I grew up with, and so I am drawn to like 80s movies and their aesthetic and their vibe a lot, and some of the early 90s stuff as well. I've been going through, like, I use Letterboxd, and I was going through like looking at updating my list, like my favorite 10 movies of every year, which I update regularly because I go back and watch older movies. And yeah, some of the years that have like the hardest decision points for me are the 80s and 90s. Like 1999 is an amazing year for movies. There's so many movies that I love that came out in 99. So yeah, I do have a lot of love for 90s movies and a lot of love for 80s movies. And the decade since then, there's definitely great movies, but I don't have as much affection for like a decade as a whole as I do for like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, that's fair. Meanwhile, so Noah's engaged. He's getting married to Zoe. And this also really cracked me up. So he like visits Felicity, right? Like they're like chit-chatting. They're having a little bit of a one-on-one. And Felicity's like, oh, don't you remember how nervous Elena was before her wedding? And I'm like, you mean the one that they called off, Felicity? Why are you comparing that to Noel's wedding, you psychopath? She really is like trying to break them up. Like, it's hysterical.
It just killed me. Like, yeah, the one that didn't happen. Wow, that's a great callback. Also, I also have to call back all the times you guys said Zoe's not going to be around for at all. She's just like, we're never going to see Zoe again.
To be fair, I still wouldn't be able to explain like her personality. Like, I don't even know her. You know, like she's just a Ruby lookalike. It's like they all just look alike. It's fine.
She's honestly irrelevant. Like, I saw the save the date, and I was just like, blonde girl, which one? Doesn't matter. One of them.
Yes. Yep. Doesn't matter which one. So they have a little bit of a chat, and ultimately what ends up happening is Felicity is talking about like, oh, I picked the wrong guy. Like, I should have picked Noel. That's where I screwed things up.
She is drunk. They're both drunk. I do want to point that out.
Sure. And like, sure, because they do have this conversation, right? Her and Noel, where they bring up the moment in the cab from last episode where she asks, "Have you ever thought about what would have happened if it was like you and me?" And he says no, and he says he lied, that he actually has. And yes, Noel, this is kind of inappropriate for you to bring up the day before your wedding, but like, sure, whatever, fine. And so this is what gets, I think, Felicity's wheels turning on like, oh, I should have been with Noel. It should have been Noel all along. And Megan, because she's a witchy little witch, is like, well, I have this fancy dancy book. Let's do some little black magic. and she plucks some of Felicity's drab ass, flat ass hair and decides to make a little bit of a concoction that works and sends us back in time to the moment that Felicity wakes up after her and Noel have gotten it in on the roof at the end of summer. Sarah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that once Megan was actually doing the spell is when I realized that this is what we were ultimately going to be doing, and I started getting very excited. And then seeing Felicity wake up on top of the roof with her hair, her old hair,
Yes.
I
Thank
think like
God.
yeah, the angels above sang in joy.
They did. They did.
It was fun and I got really excited, and I think like this was a huge turning point for me with like just like my attention, my interest, my excitement. And of course, like Felicity is the dumbest fucking idiot that ever existed throughout. So
What's happening? What? You're getting married tomorrow. Girl, wake up and smell the time change.
yeah, it was pretty unbearable, just like how she responded to all of it. But before we get into that, like I'm so curious. Have either of you ever daydreamed about this? Because I absolutely have. Like, and usually, like I'm like I am a daydreamer. I'm like definitely like more of like a head of my cloud type of person. But like, especially when I've been in more like hard times of my life, I absolutely daydreamed of like, I wish I could go back in time to this moment. Like, I wish I could redo everything. Like, I wish I could, you know, the time in particular that I would go back to, of course, is like, you know, when my dad passed away or before, or like, you know, even like less serious, you know, like before I got into a certain relationship or like made a certain decision. Like, I wish I can go back in time. If I just did this, then everything would be different. And then where I've ultimately ended up is that like I think like this is I'm gonna stop down. It's so exciting because like it's just something that I've thought about a lot in my life. Is that like, you know, like this is something that you think about like, yeah, like when you're either younger or when you're in like a certain point in your life that you're not happy with, but then when you get past that point, you realize that like I'm happy where I'm at. I needed those past experiences to get where I'm currently am. And like now that I'm in like a happier point in my life, like I don't want to undo anything, even the hard parts. So I'm just curious if like either of you have ever thought about doing this or wishing this, or am I just like a little daydreamer with my head in the clouds?
Oh, I definitely spent many a day thinking if only I could go back in time. If I could go back to whenever I was young and tell myself all of these things to change. Uh, Basically, tell my younger self, hey, just because you're a nerd doesn't mean that you can't, have friends. Because I was so in my head as a little kid about like after like absorbing all the pop culture, which pop culture I love, but it taught me some bad lessons. It was the fact that the nerds are always unathletic and they don't have friends and things like that. And so I lived in that headspace. I would not pick up on people wanting to be my friend because I was so shut off on that. I didn't even try to do anything athletic or coordinated because I thought, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do it. And then years later, I'm like, I took some martial arts. I did stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it. And I realized, if I'd gone back and to tell my younger self, hey, this person really wants to be a friend. This friend that you're friends with, they're toxic. Get away from them because they're kind of like, cock blocking other people that want to be your friends. I had so many thoughts. And I got to college, I kind of blew up some relationships a little bit because I was so paranoid about stuff. And if I could just go back, and do that stuff again and not be paranoid and not be in my head all the time. Yeah, no, I have thought many a time about being able to travel back in time and do things differently. And the whole, if I knew then what I know now, and still be able to, if nothing else, like just to be able to, okay, I can still get to where I want to go, but I can have a happier life getting there.
I mean, that's like the crazy thing, and I'll let Jess answer, but like I used to think a lot about this whole thing, but then I'd be like, but what about Belle? Like how am I going to like get Belle? Like, like how can I like game the system so I still get Belle, or still meet Jessica so I can still have podcasting and my current husband? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's things that like I still want when I was daydreaming of that, where it's just like, well, how can I still like be at this perfect time in my life where like I did exactly what I did before so I can still have that part of me? And it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer.
Yeah. It's really tough because I'm with you, Sarah, in terms of if I didn't make this mistake, I wouldn't have then learned from that mistake and made different decisions and ended up where I am now. Like, so there are certain things, like, there are mistakes that I've made that I wish I didn't make, but I also, I was young, I was dumb, like, I grew and I learned from it. I think like the harder things to swallow and the harder things to not wish were different are things like illness and death and stuff like that, because you're always going to feel like I wish I had more time. But there's just like it truly, like, the only time, because I'm with you, Sarah, I'm a daydreamer, but I would say I'm the opposite in that I like to daydream forward. Like, I like to imagine what's in the future. I'm not really stuck in the past as much of like
That
looking back.
that is the definition of anxiety versus depression.
It is. I am way too concerned with what's going to happen in the future, less concerned with what's already happened. But yeah, like I remember like way back when my dog Winston got sick. I remember being like, well, what if I had caught it sooner? And like truly, I couldn't have. Like there was no catching it sooner. I caught it as soon as I possibly could, and still it was a bad. Still it ended poorly. So there was nothing I could have done, but of course, on a particularly bad day, if I'm already like feeling down, that is where my head goes. Is like, what if I could have? What if it didn't happen? And so that like stinks, but yeah, I really am not a big look at my past sort of a person, because I try at least, and not everyone's great at this, and I can be bad at it as well. It's like trying to remember, like, give yourself grace of like, yeah, I made those mistakes, or yeah, those things happened, but I'm a different person now. Not a different person, but I've grown from those things. Like, what the specific things that I would like change. I made those mistakes when I was like 22, 23. Like, I mean, yes, you're an adult, but you are still so young, and like you're trying to learn about the world around you. So looking back and being like, it's okay. Like, no one's perfect, and certainly you don't have enough life experience to make like all the best decisions at that age. Yeah, it is interesting though, because it's funny that Felicity and Megan are kind of doing all of this when they're in their like early 20s, right? Like when they're in that time where everything feels dramatic. Like literally everything feels life or death. Everything feels big. And yeah, it's really funny. And I also, the other thing we didn't mention is freaking Ben following Felicity to New York to attend Noel's wedding. Like, I love Megan being like, what? Yeah, Ben's not coming. He hates him anyway. Like, it's fine. I'm like, yes, girl, he does. Like, what are we doing here? He shows up, and then he has the audacity to be like, oh, it's over now. And she's like, wait a minute. What do you mean? Like, how long was this actually going on? A month? A month of sneaking around, you dirty dog, you. Oh my God.
But it didn't mean anything. Which is the
A
thing.
month of nothing? What are
Yeah.
you talking about? So,
Yeah.
so the thing that you threw away our relationship for meant nothing? That's worse.
Yeah, that's a line you can use when you only just like someone kissed you and you kiss them back. Like, oh wait, no, I just got caught up in the moment. It didn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
That's what you can say then. But whenever you've been doing something for a month, we don't know what they did for a month, but yeah, it's been a month, and it's not just a nothing if you've been doing it for a month. And I think that's the thing that separates this from like other things that he's done, is like that he was sneaking around her back for a month. It's nothing that just sort of happened, or anything like that. It was like, no, he's been keeping this on the down low for a month and then wants to act like it's nothing. But no, dude, it's not nothing. You have been lying to your girlfriend for a month. As Megan said, you should have let me send him down a flight of stairs. Again, I write, preach, Megan. Preach.
Yes. Yeah. And so the spell ends up working. Felicity wakes up on the roof after she's had sex with Noel. Of course, she immediately is like, oh my God, Zoe. And he's like, who the fuck is Zoe? And she says, oh my God, you're getting married tomorrow. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, girl, understand. So she sees herself in a mirror, sees her curly hair, which I did like as like a silly little thing. And yeah, Noel shows back up. It's very much we've done this before in the premiere. And she is like trying to place herself. She says, okay, I need to go. Like, I need to talk to Megan. I need to talk to Megan like right now and get this under control.
Yeah. And she's like, Megan doesn't live here. I thought like a lot of those like little beats or like those little clues I really did like, because it's like you have to like orient yourself, like, oh, like I'm used to this, but like at this point in time that's not what was going on, so I have to go over here. So Megan at that time was still living with Felicity and Elena at the girls' apartment, and she wasn't at the loft yet. So I really liked those little details that the show included that was like, we are firmly back. And I thought that was really well done.
Mm-hmm. And so she wakes Megan up and she says, oh my God, you did it. We're back in time. And I slept with Noel. And she's like, yeah, you know that. It's like, okay, Felicity, I understand maybe of all people, Megan would be the one who would also remember with you that like you have time traveled. But like once she says, I don't know what you're talking about, nothing you say is going to make her know what you know. Okay. Like truly, Noel's wedding. What are you talking about? Like, what more proof do you need, girl? Like, it's insane. I love the mention of the hickey again, going back to like relevant plot points from the premiere. And then Elena shows up like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, chill yourself, Felicity. Like, Todd, I don't know that I've ever seen a character adapt to time travel less or worse than Felicity.
It's wild. It is wild. And again, I give her a little bit of grace initially because, you don't expect these things to actually happen. You don't really expect to travel back through time. So her first, like, being a little discombobulated makes sense. But then once it starts to sink in, then you need to, roll with it. Felicity just doesn't grok time travel at all. She just does not even seem to remotely realize how it's going to work. And we know Felicity has no chill. We've seen Felicity has no chill, but she really has no chill in any of this. Because it's not even like, okay, I've gone back in time. I can start to do things the way I want to do them. I can formulate a plan. There's no plan. It's just like, I got to break up with Ben. I got to be with Noel. This is why I came back. We have to do it immediately. That's the only way. It's all going to work out fine because this is what's meant to happen. This is why it happened. She's just like so manic with it all.
Yeah, she really is.
Oh my word. Like Megan's response is, this is the greatest thing ever. You've gone insane.
I love it. I love her being like, oh, so you want to be with Noel now? And she's like, well, yeah, that's what this is all about. And she's like, oh, senior year is going to be the best.
Yeah. Perfect. I do love just how like blatantly Megan is pro Noel. Megan has always been definitely anti-Ben. I don't know if she's always been pro Noel, but she's definitely been anti-Ben. So hearing that Felicity is like dumping Ben is like, yes, senior year is going to be so good. And hopefully she's right this time. Who knows?
Yeah.
I just feel like the manic erraticness of how Felicity was acting did not help her convey what was going on. Like, she opens up the episode, she reaches out to Sally, which is insane. Sally in a billion years.
Yes.
Like, and this is so funny because it's like exactly what we were talking about in the beginning of the series, where it's just like Felicity does not have like a friendship with Sally. She just talks at Sally. And she's like, you haven't heard from me. She's just like that toxic friend. Like, we all know that one toxic friend where they just come out the woodwork when they need you. And she's like, she's just like, Sally, I know I haven't spoken to you in like 3 years, but I have a big problem and you're the only one that's going to understand. How is Sally going to understand? Like, she's like, it was wild. I couldn't believe that.
Because she's a ghost, so she's also a supernatural creature.
I
That's
have
all
no
that-
proof that she's not. So honestly,
At this point, anything can happen. Now that they've
Anything can
done time
happen.
travel, anything can happen.
anything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel as though Megan would be the number one person to believe Felicity.
Oh, definitely.
But we're going to have to come in like a state of like, I am not manic. This is what happened to me, and you have to believe me.
Yeah.
And maybe it would take like a little bit of time with Megan, but not to the point where Megan's like, I'm going to bring you to the loony bin literally tomorrow. Because
Yeah.
like, I don't know, Megan's like literally done spells by this time.
Yeah, she's witchy. Like she certainly is the most likely to believe this. And yeah, she says, well, that now I want to be with Noel. That's what this is all about. And the problem is, like Todd said, you got to slow your roll a little bit, like, girl, calm the hell down. Because the first thing she does is like when Noel is like, oh my God, did I give you that hickey? Oh no, what if Ben sees? And she's like, you know what? Good. I want him to see it. I'm going to tell him. Like, what the hell? And then Noel, rightfully so, is like, I live with the guy. Like, are you trying to get me killed? Like, what is wrong with you? And she's just like, well, you know what? I don't care. Like, she immediately is like, I've never seen someone switch gears so quickly. Like, it's insane. Like, take a minute, take a breath, girl. Like, if you don't want to be with Ben, you don't have to be. But that doesn't mean that you just got to go get another dick. Like, just calm down for a second. She's scaring him.
That's
But
a great
the whole
point.
reason she's here.
I mean, she now has like basically all the time in the world. Like she has, not everything has to be that second. And I think that Noel's initial instincts were absolutely correct. Like, I don't think that this is like what we should do. Because if you have to look at it, I mean, she's not thinking of like what this all looks like from from Noel's perspective. Like he's expecting Felicity to be like, this was a mistake, like this was, and she is basically, and like everything that she says, she's so self-assured, which is like weird.
It's like she knows something, but she does.
Like the
but
way
it's still
that
weird.
she delivers everything that she says, like, well, like I know what the alternative is, and it's not going to be good. Like she looks like she's in a state of like like a manic episode. So like maybe Noel's like, oh, she's having a breakdown because she has like massive guilt and like she is just like going wild. So I think that Noel's initial instinct of being like, yeah, like this is not what we should do was absolutely correct. Because if I was seeing my friend do this, I'd be like, you're having a mentee B because you cheated on your boyfriend and you're feeling really awful. And instead of like slowing down and making it taking a break from everybody, you are jumping from one guy to another. And I think that is Felicity. If she was my friend, and I would be like, I don't think you're doing so hot, babe. Like, I don't think you're doing so well.
Yeah, it's very much like from his perspective, he slept with her, and all of a sudden she's like so sure about this, probably because she feels guilty, but also like everything she says, like, she's saying with such confidence, but it would feel to someone else like she's trying to convince herself of something. It's like she's trying to convince herself, nope, I didn't do anything wrong. This is the right thing to do, and so they have like every right to go, okay, no, this is not right. The way that you're reacting is not a normal reaction to the situation. And she just can't see how her actions are affecting people around her. She's being so self-involved. It is upsetting.
Yeah, like truly, no one else knows you time traveled, girl. Like, calm down. And so, my absolute favorite is when she meets up with Noel, and she just says, I slept with Noel, or excuse me, meets up with Ben. And she says, I slept with Noel. And he's like, what? She's like, and I did feel guilty about it forever, but I don't anymore because I was upset and I was lonely and he was there for me. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, why are you doing this? And she goes, Claire. He doesn't even know who Claire is. What are you Like at this
or
point,
Justine or whomever, it doesn't matter. She could have said like Avery, like it was
it's
just
insane.
it was really funny. It was really, I mean, yeah, she has zero chill. And he like, when did this happen? Like over the summer? Because she's like, yeah, I've been thinking about this forever. And she's like, no, last night. That's not forever. That's less than 24 hours ago.
My favorite part of all of that is like she's like, it's actually pretty clear to him. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not even remotely clear.
And like she treats it like, again, I'm with you, Todd. Like, give her a little bit of grace when she first wakes up and like realizes she has time traveled. At this point, girl, you know that he has no fucking clue what you're talking about. And yet she just acts like, oh, this is so obvious. Like, this is so clear to everyone involved. And he's like, okay, so you want to be with him now? And she's like, yeah, I think so. And he's like, that's crazy. Like, yes, it is.
I mean, it is crazy. It is.
Like,
yeah,
you're insane.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God. So she's like, yeah, I want to break up. That's what I want. I want to break up. It's like, okay. And yeah, it's like, then she immediately goes to Noel and is like, hey, I broke up with Ben. Let's date. You are psychotic.
Yeah.
Like, do you not see how this comes off in Noel's head, in Noel's body, in Noel's world that we are living in? You guys connected over the summer. You're like BFFs, whatever. You're leaning on him constantly for, reassurance, whatever. You sleep together once on the roof, and then immediately you were like, I'm going to break up with my boyfriend who I love so much, and I'm just going to end things with him, and then we're going to get together. Girl, calm down. I can't. And I understand why Noel was so scared. He probably was like, I'm going to need to bring her to like a psychiatric facility because she's losing her mind right now. So he's like, yeah, I don't think we should be dating right now. And also in the same conversation, Sarah, it's he's like, oh, your future, what about art? And she's like, no, forget art, I'm gonna be pre-med.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it. Like, I get like where she's coming from. She's just like not, it's just, but it's always been, she somehow knows that she is on a show called Felicity and it's all about her. Like, it doesn't matter in her mind what happens or how anybody else feels. She literally only gives a shit about how Felicity feels. She is the most self-absorbed person that there ever might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just wild. The whole thing is wild.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So Noel is just like, because then he says, like, what about Ben? Like, you were talking about him constantly. She's like, I'm over Ben. It's like, oh,
since when?
Okay. And he's like, okay, well, I don't know. And they're like, okay, well, let's do dinner. Let's do dinner tonight. She's like, oh, well, we have the rehearsal dinner, for your best friend's wedding that we can go to. And they arrange a date.
Going on with that? Maybe it's this time it's going to happen.
Like,
what?
Stop it! You sound crazy!
She is crazy.
Oh my God. And then Ben doesn't want to break up because Todd, in his mind, what is happening? Why are you breaking up with me?
Yeah, and I mean, Ben, you never tell well, you can't break up with me. Yeah, she can. And honestly, at this point, you should want her to. You should look at this behavior and go, yeah, dodge the bullet there.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, and so she's just like, oh yeah, I just know Ben's not the right one. Nola's the right one. It's just like, oh my God. And then is this the point where Felicity says to Noel that they should like get away or something? Like get away for a weekend?
Yeah, let's go for a vacation. Let's go to the Berkshires. Let's go to the Hamptons, whatever. And he's like, I think like the next scene or the scene after is when everybody is in the apartment, and I legit thought that they were going to have an intervention for Felicity.
I did too.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I'm like, that tracks. Like, yes,
she needs one.
Apparently, they're just having like a meeting about how the wedding got called off. I don't even know, because I don't know how. Do you remember what they said about why?
Yeah. It's because Elena and Tracy got in a fight about Felicity dumping Ben for Noel, and Elena,
Right.
or at least Felicity sleeping with Noel, and Elena tried to defend Felicity, and Tracy got upset, and that's what broke the whole thing off.
Okay.
Which is basically their way to say, oh, we can't have Donald Faison in this batch of episodes, so we're just not even going to show him
Why?
with Elena at all.
Where's he at? Wait, he's too busy? Why?
Scrubs? I don't know. Maybe.
Scrubs.
Who knows?
No, I don't think yet. No.
I don't know. Yeah, so that's like the first big change. And then so Felicity starts freaking out because, well, if Elena and Tracy's wedding doesn't at least start, then Megan and Sean aren't going to get married. And I love Megan being like, fat chance. Like, what are you talking about? And Felicity's like, the spell. And she's like, I didn't put a spell on you, you fucking weirdo. Stop. You're scaring me. And so they try to Google this book. But of course, the book doesn't, like, it probably wasn't published yet. Because I'm pretty sure Megan even said it was brand new.
Yeah, she did.
Because it was like the number 2, even though the first one didn't exist or something. And so yeah, Felicity's like freaking out because she says, oh, I could be stuck here forever. And yeah, in the meantime, Nola's like, I don't think we should do this. Like, I don't think we should date. It's like, well, yeah, probably because Felicity's acting unhinged. So who would want to date her right now?
Oh, and Scrubs was happening at this point in time. Scrubs.
So maybe he was scrubbing it up.
Yeah, like this was in 2002 and Scrubs started as 2001. So
did you see there's going to be a reboot for Scrubs?
Yes.
Yeah, once again, like I'm a little like,
why are we doing this?
I'm a little precious about it. I'm like, okay,
just make something new, please.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about it because they are going to talk. They're kind of inspired by the fact like the people that inspired Bill Lawrence, like his medical doctor friends, some of them aren't even in the profession anymore because how much the medical field has changed in the past, 10 years. So a lot of the show is going to be kind of examining they're in a completely different landscape, and it's going to be like a little bit more jaded JD trying to like, he's no longer the super optimist because of everything that's happened, because the character he's based on in real life is kind of like now not in the medical field anymore. So it's going to be like like trying to like say, here's where the world is now. And so that sometimes that can be interesting, sometimes it could be a train wreck. So yeah, I'm leery about it, but I love the original Scrubs so much, and they've gotten at least the big, like, it's based JD, Turk, and Elliot are definitely all going to be back on the show full time, and some of the other people will show up occasionally. Some might be back. They haven't announced the full cast yet, but they do say at least going to be touching base with like all the other people about where they are right now. So, and it's still Bill Lawrence is still attached to it, and he has a pretty good track record, I think. So I'm cautiously optimistic about it.
Okay, well that makes I'm interested because like I have a very close friend who's in the medical field, and she's feeling the same exact way because especially after 2020, how different the medical landscape is. It's and she's struggling because like she obviously wants to help people, but like it's just so different. So that is very interesting to me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so Noel doesn't want to get together, whatever. Felicity can't time travel back home. She's like confused as to what's going on, and obviously things are now changing. And in comes Noel. I just wanted to check on you.
I do want to mention really quick, like as she's having Megan like look for the book and it's not published and all of that, and Felicity finally decides to cool on the time travel thing, but her thing is like, oh, I don't know, I thought the book thing, but I think I'm just getting the flu or something. Like that's going to explain everything. Like smooth Felicity, smooth excuse. Megan's totally going to buy that all this is just because you have the flu. Come on.
Insane, just obnoxious. Just what are you doing? But in comes Noel. He wants to check on her. And he says, well, the reason I said no is because I'm scared. It's because I'm scared and I don't want to lose you as a friend. So then they make out. So I loved this for the sole reason that it meant that, oh my God, it's not just a 1 episode time travel. We staying in the past, baby. crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Buckle up for the rest of the season.
I'm fine. My life is fine. I'm not upset. I think I'm
Yeah.
curious, like, where she will end up. Like, is she going to by the end of it end back up with Ben? Is she really going to be all in with Noel? Is she going to do what we actually think that she should do and be like, you know what, maybe I should just be single? I don't know. Like, I'm very curious and I'm excited to watch what will come. And if the whole thing just winds up, we look back on it being like, this was the fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen, at least they took a swing. And I would give Felicity credit for that. Not the person, the character.
show.
Felicity, the character, is actually the worst human being I've ever seen. And I'm glad that my initial intuition of her was correct, that she's a moron and a creep and really awful. But the show, I'll give the show credit.
Yeah.
I'll say I was really torn when trying to figure out what episode to come on for, whether to come on for this episode or the finale. I was trying to decide if I wanted to be here to like talk to you guys as it's all starting or be at the end to talk about all the ramifications. But ultimately, I really wanted to be here to talk about the possibilities and the initial reactions of it all. But you will be getting at least an email, maybe a voicemail from me to talk about my thoughts about how everything pans out, because it goes in some interesting directions. And I'm really looking forward to y'all experiencing this and talking through everything that happens for the rest of the season. Because like I said, it's not boring. It's crazy, but it's not dull. So and it's also short. I think that's also a good thing to think about. Like, we only have like 4 more episodes after this. And so it's not like we're having a whole nother half of a season to get through for them to like drag things down and screw things up. If they do screw things up, they're going to do it really quickly. It'll happen really fast. And so you know that the end is in sight.
Yeah, and in case we haven't mentioned it on the podcast, I don't know that we have. The way we're covering the remainder of the season is next week we'll talk about episode 19. The week after we'll talk about episode 20 with our pal Lindy. And then we're going to do a supersized finale. We're going to cover episodes 21 and 22 in one podcast. And then, of course, we'll have our series wrap up after that. So
and
that's
21 and 22 did air on the same night originally. So it winds up
works out nicely there. Yeah. And the reason being, listen, it's going to be my birthday soon, and I'm going away for my birthday. And so we have to just finish the show before I leave. You know, that's the goal. That's the thing. We're not dragging this out any longer. Okay. I think it's time to get into our feedback. So, Todd, you brought a little musical selection here for us today. I'm very excited. I wanted to click so bad. I was like, no, I need to listen to it live on the podcast for the first time. So I'm going to play the song that Todd created if you want to set it up, Todd.
Yeah, so a little preface here. This is actually the brainchild of our friend TV Lindy. She reached out to me saying, hey, Todd, would you like to collaborate on a song parody about the time travel of it all? Her initial idea was to do a parody of the theme song, but I could not find there's no karaoke
Which
version.
one? The Da-Do-Das or the other one?
The new one, the current one.
So,
yeah, so originally, like, Lindy had like some initial lyrics for it, but I couldn't find the music for it. And then my idea was to do this. And so I wrote a pass. I took to Lindy. She had some suggestions. I tweaked the lyrics. And so this is a collaboration between Lindy and myself, just about the beginning of this back half of the season.
Incredible. Let's hear what Todd has created with amazing Lindy.
Felicity turned back time. Felicity found a way to go back to her night with knowing she got laid. Who knows just why the show did what it did? Who knows just why the fuck Elena's dead? And then there's Ben, who cheats just like a slime. The perfect solution, jump back in time. If season 4's already hurt you, and you'll be glad to see it go. Then this might make you cry, 'cause Lady Felicity turned back time so she could lose her pain. And now we have to live through season 4 again. Elena was killed off screen. What dum-dum approved that twist? It's so awful, awful, holy hell, I'm pissed. This not the way a time jump's supposed to work. Time travel backwards because Ben's a jerk. It's not the first time, so why should we care? At least this time no one chopped off their hair.
Yes.
Noel was about to marry Zoe, which made Felicity all sad. She wants a second chance, and so then Megan has turned back time. Megan has cast a spell, but because of Ben, not Elena, what the hell? Megan's a grade A witch, and now we all know that. If she was on Buffy, Amy would not be a rat.
Very good.
Stunning.
'Cause she can turn back time. Yes, Megan turned back time. Yeah, Megan turned back time.
That was beautiful.
Incredible. Wow.
Thank you.
10 out of 10. Oh my God. I love all the mentions. The fact that you mentioned Rat Amy is just...
Yeah,
God,
I mean,
love it.
then that thought popped into my head. I'm like, okay, this is definitely the song that I have to do because it fits. And then you mentioned it earlier about her on Buffy. I'm like, yes, I knew that would be a conversation on this, so I had to throw that in there.
Beautiful. Incredible work, Todd and Lindy. Absolutely loved it. All right, well, what a way to kick off our feedback. Let's jump in. Let's jump in and hear what Temmie has to say about this episode.
Hi, people. Felicity is so selfish. Asking Megan at the end of the episode to take her back to the first timeline just because Noel rejects her and wants to be friends. That brings back the death of Elena if they were to go back in a way that resets everything. Elena probably doesn't die if they click ahead from where they are or stay in this timeline because of the butterfly effect. Felicity in this episode was too much of a know-it-all. There are no guarantees in a new timeline. Hasn't she read those Choose Your Own Adventure books? Hasn't she read Hogwarts history? Did you read the Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid?
Yes.
What about Encyclopedia Brown?
Yes.
The possible time travel references are why Todd is here for this episode. And Sarah, last episode, you said you have worked for the same company for 8 years. How was your transition moving to Missouri and then Indiana?
Oh.
Thanks. Bye.
Temmie is such a knowledgeable king. He remembers everything. How was your transition moving, Sarah, from Jersey to Missouri and then to Indiana while working for the same job?
It was pretty good actually. So I gotta be the first good amount of years, I forget how many, I guess it was so I had a really hard transition from commuting into the city. Then after 2020 working from home, I am not the best at self-motivation all the time. And sometimes I love to take a little 3 o'clock nappy poo or shower or hair appointment or doctor's appointment. And that certainly like kicked my butt, honestly. Having that much freedom, I needed more structure. Luckily, I did get better at it. And the transition itself, moving for the company was fine because I was already working from home. From New Jersey to Missouri, then Missouri to Indianapolis. It was fine. I think that like especially here, I've probably have done the best in Indiana because I have like experience working from home under my belt, and I have my own office, and I can like close the door, and like my concentration is a lot better. So I think like right now I'm doing really, really good. I have not gotten one of those like talks from my company where they're like, Sara, like, where is your brain? And I'm very lucky about that. I'm very happy because I was getting some of those for a little bit because like I said, sometimes I spend a little too much time on the Discord. Sometimes I am a little, I don't know, I like get into my own place, but it's been good. And I'm very grateful that I've been able to travel with my company. They are when I did do my big life shift about 2 years ago, everything in my life changed except basically the company that I worked for. And I'm really grateful that I had that one thing that was that got to stay the same. So that is my story, and they're great. They're like, I mean, Todd and Jess hear a lot about my work shenanigans. And most of the time I'm not complaining about the place I work, only about my ops that are not my company. So.
Your ops, yes. We love hearing about your ops.
Yeah.
I had a breakdown this week.
We got to witness it, and it was glorious.
It was a thing of beauty, yes.
Yeah, I was fighting with somebody. A one-sided feud. But
I love whenever you have a one-sided feud because I can almost guarantee that other person is like, Sara loves me. Sara just loves me.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Meanwhile, we got to hear Sara's impression of the person, which is my favorite thing.
It was the best. The best. Yeah.
Boy.
So, did y'all read Encyclopedia Brown books? Are you aware who Encyclopedia
I'm gonna
Brown
Google
is?
it because I know what it. I've heard the name. Oh, I've seen these. I've not read any of these, but I did read the Choose Your Own Adventures.
Yeah, I figure like Choose Your Adventure is like something that kind of has like had lots of iterations over time. Encyclopedia Brown, I feel like it's probably like more of a particular time and place was like super popular. I don't know if it's still popular anymore, but basically what it was like little mysteries, like little kind of 1-page mysteries, 1 to 2-page mysteries with this like elementary school detective named Encyclopedia Brown. And so like the whole book would be all these little mysteries, these little stories. And so you like read the little mystery and like, can you figure out the secret? And then you would turn the page and then you'd be able to read what the actual solution to the mystery was. So it's kind of like some deductive thinking training for you, but also like an entertaining little, and the mysteries are all things like, oh, someone stole the milk money. Who could it have been? Or there's this one character whose name I can't remember anymore. He's kind of like the bully who would always be like, pushing encyclopedia around or stealing stuff or telling lies. I remember like there was one time where he was trying to sell this tablet that he said was like from prehistoric times, it's like cave art of cavemen fighting dinosaurs. And of course the thing is like cavemen didn't live at the same time as dinosaurs, so that was the thing you had to know to figure it out. Another time he was telling a story about how he'd been trapped in a room and he tried to take the door off the hinges, but there were no hinges inside the room. But then the kidnappers opened the door, it swung in to hit him. I'm like, that's not how hinges work. They swing towards the hinges. And so those are like the 2 examples I remember of like some of the mysteries are in the Encyclopedia Brown books. I read a bunch of them whenever I was a little kid, and I was not great at figuring out the mysteries. It wasn't my cup of tea early. I still read a lot of them.
Yeah. All right, let's see what DBK has to say about this episode. I'm very, very curious. We know he doesn't like Ben, and now we know one of the main reasons why.
What up, though, ladies? And Tom, you got time from tell.
Odd.
Time will tell from me. I guess it's fair. I got assassins. You got time will tell. I mean, how good was this, guys? You guys were so close. You were like, we're gonna do a time jump. We're gonna go in the future, and Felicity is gonna be a doctor, and we're gonna see all that stuff. And it's like, we're doing black magic, people. We're going in the past, and we're gonna relive senior year. And there's going to be one thing that happens that no one wants, but we'll talk about that when it happens later. But I mean, how funny was this episode? Felicity just like, oh, I'm gonna like just being so matter of fact about everything, and so good, so good. I'm hoping you like this. I mean, I love the time travel of it all. This is the best part of season 4 for me. This is this is gonna be so good. At least I think. And I will take any of the last episodes, guys, because I have a lot to say. So, just holler at me, let me know, since Tom stole this from me. Tom,
Todd.
I hope you like this episode. I hope you're saying good things. I hope you're defending Felicity for me. And until next week, ladies. Peace.
We must have horrible pronunciation. We probably said he heard ta and then stopped listening when we pronounced the final.
Well, but he knew it was me because he apologized for taking Assassins, which was like the episode that I really wanted.
Oh, so then he just doesn't know your name.
Yeah, he just doesn't know my name. I got me confused with Tom name-wise because he was like, because Assassins was like my first pick for season 1, and then he got Assassins. So he knew it was me, but he just got the names mixed up.
That's funny. DBK will reach out. I have not been on Twitter, which is I think where we usually chat with you. So I'll have to log into my Twitter.
Remember when we were like, oh, like Felicity's braids or brains? Remember that? And then we were like, does he like braids? He sent us a picture with him having some braids.
Wow.
Really great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. I'll message you, DBK. I don't do the scheduling, but I guess I can sacrifice
just not 420. He can't do 420 because that's when Lindy's coming on.
You can come on for what?
You can do it live on the podcast.
Not for. This is why I don't do scheduling.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway.
419 or 420.
Oh no, I did 420 like the smoking date. Oh
yeah,
no.
baby. Okay, let's get into our last piece of feedback. We got an email from Jamie. Before I rant about this episode, let me quickly address one that was said in last week's podcast. Sarah said she heard some of the original writers returned for the last 5 episodes. That's not true. The writers who left the show after season 2 never returned. So let's start with the positive. You correctly predicted Elena's death. Be honest, were you guys spoiled about Elena's death? Because I was, thanks to the Hulu description. It says Felicity becomes distant and withdrawn after Elena dies in a car accident. So I read that a few weeks ago, but I had no idea about the time travel stuff. Okay, this is actually a funny story, and I'm so happy you asked this because also I had forgotten yet again. Todd knows what I'm talking about. So apparently, how long ago was this, Todd? Do we know? Was it months ago?
I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been quite a while. It was before you guys started season 4. I know for sure. It was like a couple of seasons ago. I was trying to find like a record of when I said about it, but I couldn't find it.
Maybe I said it to you after, like on the podcast or something. I don't know. So I was spoiled like 6 months, a year ago or something. That like basically I saw a TikTok, and I try to keep both Buffy and Felicity out of my algorithm because I don't want to be spoiled on anything, and I've been pretty successful so far. But some random TikTok came up, and it was talking about how the person was really mad that they killed off the only person of color on Felicity. And so I immediately like swiped, because I didn't even want to hear a name. But obviously, like Elena is like literally the only person of color. So I'm not going to give myself any credit for the death prediction, because if maybe it was in there in my mind somewhere, and I forgot that I knew it, because I totally had forgotten it until Todd brought it up. That he was like, "Wait, weren't you spoiled on something?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I was."
Yeah.
So I did know.
Because I can't believe they killed off Elena. I'm like, Jess, I'm pretty sure you were spoiled on the fact that Elena died at one point.
Yeah. I certainly, all I knew was they killed off a person of color, and I didn't know how. So yeah. Sarah, were you spoiled on anything about like the time travel stuff? Anything that happened in this episode? I don't think so.
Oh boy. I think that at one point in time, I saw something like something about Elena dying but not really dying, and it
Okay.
was like something on like maybe Reddit or not that I wasn't on the Felicity Reddit. It was just like you like, and I have when I'm edging on like a verge of a spoiler, I have to do this thing where I'm like scrolling past it really quickly, and then like I have to kind of like disassociate myself from that memory. So going into it, I didn't remember in totality, but like I do think that I like took when you brought up the Elena thing, I think that like I did become more quiet. So because I was
'Cause you
remembering
remembered.
in that moment that like
Yeah.
something was happening, but also from what I had read, it wasn't clear. And I certainly didn't know about going back in time. I sincerely thought we were going forward in time. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and aside from that, I'm pretty sure that that is the only thing that I got kind of spoiled on in for the next couple of episodes, unless
Yeah.
there's another part spoiler that I have compartmentalized in my brain and I cannot
Yeah.
remember.
I think that was the only thing I've ever seen about Felicity was that one comment. I think beyond that, I haven't been spoiled, I don't think, on any Buffy stuff, but that really sucks to get spoiled by the freaking description. Like, what is wrong with you, Hulu? Like, come
Yeah.
on, man.
That's wild because the actual like the IMDb synopsis is like, Felicity dealing with a loss, but doesn't tell you what the loss is
Yeah,
or
just say
who
keep
it
it
is.
vague.
Yeah.
Good God. Okay, so Jamie continues. Here's my big problem with the episode. I get they want to explore the Noel angle of things, and I'm fine with that, but that they have to completely destroy Ben to do it,
Yeah.
especially after the grand gesture he did to be with Felicity in the finale. Look, we all know Ben's not perfect, but to be actively cheating on her for a month right under her nose because she's depressed that Elena died does not seem in character at all for Ben. Oh, Sarah, Jamie agrees with you.
See, Jamie, we're like rarely on the same page, but today we are, and I'm
There
really
you go.
grateful for that.
Yeah. If anything, we all know Ben loves a damsel in distress. I think Ben would be trying to help Felicity not cheat on her. For all his flaws and the mistakes he has made, he does have a conscience, and no way would he be able to do that for a month. Also, that girl Claire must have very little self-worth to just accept being Ben's side piece for a month, knowing he has a girlfriend and being friendly with said girlfriend. So how do you
Well.
feel about the decision to have Ben cheat to explore Noel and Felicity? Personally, I think there was a better way. Curious to hear your thoughts. I mean, there certainly was, like Todd was saying at the top of the freaking podcast, like have Elena's death be the impotence for it. Like, why do we have to have Ben cheating? It's all because they're like they want to feed into the love triangle of it all, But oh my God, so ridiculous. But yeah, that's our episode. That's our feedback. We have 4 more episodes, 4 more podcasts total. Look at us go. Next week, Sarah, you ready to hear the title of the episode? Oh, do we want to give a winner? Do we want to give a winner this episode? We haven't in a while.
Megan, because she is a good witch.
Icon and a queen, good witch.
Yeah.
Megan gets the point.
There's
Agreed,
no other
completely.
choice, I think.
And she
Yep.
was like really funny. Like she had like
and
a lot
very
of good
comforting
beats.
as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So perfect. Okay. Well, let's get on to the next episode. Title is season 4, episode 19, The Power of the X.
Oh,
I don't know what that means. Like
Ben's
exploitation,
the X. Well,
maybe?
yeah,
Yeah,
Ben's
it's
the X.
EX. Yeah, so it has to be. What is he gonna have supernatural powers now? He's a vampire.
I can't.
The worlds are colliding.
Listen, you never know. He could be a vampire, he could be a werewolf. Just saying, something could happen.
He was in a movie where he's both a vampire and a werewolf, so
How are you both? Okay.
it was a hybrid thing. It's the underworld movies. Yeah. He whispered in those two. Very annoying. I'm very glad that when he was on Grey's Anatomy, he does not whisper.
Yeah, he's a whisper talker. It's very irritating. As someone who shouts when they talk, I cannot stand a whisper talker. All right. Well, that's everything. Todd, if people want to catch more of what you're up to, where can they find you?
You can find me over at Whirlwind Podcasts, where on One Discoverable Podcast, we're talking through Everwood. We're approaching the end of season 1. Over on Tuning In, Tom and I are talking about season 2 of Gravity Falls. I think we're coming towards the end of our previous Little Liars coverage for right now, and then we will have some previously on Shameless, and then back to previous Little Liars. And then there's just all sorts of fun stuff going on over there. So be sure to go over to Whirlwind and check things out.
Incredible. Well, you can find us here, Shit 90 Shows Taught Me, covering Buffy and Felicity, and we'll be back next week with season 4, episode 19. Until then, everyone, have a good one. Bye.